Hey, hey. Hello, hello. Welcome back, guys. All right, let's get into this. This is going to be a message for the collective, so not zodiac specific until we start to see zodiacs, and then I'll call them out as they come up. We're starting out with passion. Somebody's got the fire in the hand, the lightning in the hand. The Knight of Wands gets a bad rap for being a player. But what I see is you notice that our Black Panther is kind of like starting to come in out of the murky quiet blackness and offer, like they're starting to show their eyes, they're starting to show this offer. I feel less like this is, like a player, and more like somebody who has been building the courage to emerge out of the secretive, hidden, like backdrop that they've been kind of watching from. It's the jungle cats. I mean, they're great hunters anyway, but a lot of animals are camouflaged specifically for the terrain that they live in. And this particular cat, he has been, I'm gonna say, we can't call him shy, okay, but because he's obviously hunting his prey. Now, I don't mean that in a predatory way, though, even though I've just said it that way. It's more along the lines of, I think that the jungle cats have so much power to them. So this is a person who has a ton of power. They aren't fearful exactly, but they have been working up they could be like scoping something out and be like, I don't know, should I come forward with this? A typically very powerful person who's not exactly filled with fear, but every creature has self-preservation. Every person, no matter how powerful they are, we all have some kind of like nervousness to approach, and especially when it's something that we want. Or let me put it this way, I think everybody that does not have a bizarrely bloated idea of how important they are has a normal amount of nervousness in them, or could have, a very, if maybe I shouldn't say normal, an understandable amount of nervousness. So he is, he's slowly moving. And I do mean slowly, because I mean, Year of the Tiger was a couple of years back. So maybe this is something that he has, an affection he's had for somebody for quite a while, or an interest he's had for quite a while, or a spark of, creative energy flow that he's wanted to pursue for quite a while. But it's been slowly but surely he's been moving. And I'm picturing right now, like, even just a house cat, how they do that prowl, and they can go like really, really, really slow in their movements. I'm picturing he's been moving that way because we saw him now as a second kind of a jungle cat, this time a very, very rare white tiger. So we have, I feel like, even though he's coming in as a knight, I feel like he's very special. He or she, it does not matter, but we do have a boy, so I'm going to keep saying he now. Three of Cups. This is his only thought process is, okay, I'm doing this. I'm going to be reaching out. How do I do this? I could say this. I could say that. I could say that. What should my opening line be? So he's narrowed it down to three different things, three different ways he could make his presence known, three different ways he could speak up. Yesterday we had this like epic, probably one of the longest stories I've ever had, because it was three parts and the third part was an entire hour. So it was crazy amounts of storyline in that one. But the only reason there's something similar about it is because of this coming in out of the shadows, somebody who's been, kind of lurking for a while. But this is different to me because in that other storyline, it was like somebody was going to be sending a gift or something to try to offer their heart. This is more giving me the vibes of a character who has admired somebody for some time. They might have been, just contemplating for quite a while, or maybe they are a shy but powerful person and they move with intention. It's different than the story of yesterday. To me, this character is very, very different in the energy that they're presenting with, even if some of the action is kind of similar in them emerging from the shadows. They come across as a King of Swords. Okay, so they could be Libra, Gemini, Aquarius, but they're coming in with pretty clear intentions of what they want to say. Their thoughts have gotten clearer either over these years, or their thoughts have gotten clearer specifically there at the end of Year of the Dragon. You know, we just ended that on the 29th of January. We're now in the Year of the Snake. He's got a huge dragon tattoo all across his entire body, in fact. I think what he's realized is that, of course, there's a lot of different ways to say what you want to say, but this is a very cerebral character, but they also, I mean, I do think that they move with intention for sure. He has his bow slung across his shoulder, and he's not, you know, taken aim yet to let go of that arrow, but it's coming. So this is definitely about him sending a message. It feels like sending a message to an empress. Feels like there is somebody that he would like very much to communicate with, that he already thinks is absolutely incredible. And maybe that's what he wants to convey. Just want to tell you, you're very wonderful, or very lovely, or, you know, it's something about wanting to convey with respect to her how he views her. She could be either a Libra or a Taurus. Does not have to be, and also this doesn't have to be a woman. This could be a same-sex couple, reverse gender roles, does not matter. But for the sake of the story, we'll go with what we see on the cards. Queen of Cups. No, I don't think he's trying to send, you know, 2 or 3 different messages to 2 or 3 different women and see who takes the bite. I don't think that. I think this is still an element of her. He may see her this way, and this might be what he would like to convey to her, but this is the reaction he hopes to receive from her. A Queen of Cups in particular, you know, they offer up a warm response. Now, an Empress does as well, but I always think of an Empress as being like, imagine if you went to Buckingham Palace or something, any palatial estate. You aren't going to probably get to waltz right in and go straight up to whomever is, you know, running the palace. You would go through several layers of security and this and that before getting to them. And while whoever runs the palace could be very gracious and very warm, there's a lot more formality involved in getting to this Empress. Whereas if you are approaching somebody that's in Queen energy, you still approach with respect, but you perhaps are not going to go through the layers of, you know, royal guards and, you know, checkpoints and, you know, have to be formally introduced and, you know, be instructed on how you approach. So I'm going to say it's just a more informal energy. So he wants to approach her with tremendous respect. And he may feel like there is an absolute important way that I reach out to her. I need to reach out with a formality. But what I would like is for her to receive me, hopefully not as an incredibly formal reaction, but something that feels warm. So he knows exactly what he is hoping his words will convey. So he wants to be respectful, but also get his point across. I'm reaching out not just to say in a robotic format, you are wonderful. That is all I wanted to say, because it's not all he wants to say. He wants a response, a warm response from her. Okay. And it's not to manipulate or anything. I think he's just, how do I convey everything that I'm actually trying to get across? He's very mindful with his words, his vocabulary. Very, I mean, maybe too mindful, maybe putting too much thought into this. But let's say, to his credit, he's doing this because it really matters to him. And he's put a lot of thought into this already. So however he speaks to her will be with great respect, great reverence, but also hopefully not with so much formality that is not warm, and that it doesn't come across as if what he's hoping for is warmth from her in response. I mean, he wants to generate some kind of conversation with her, some kind of dialogue. We got a 4 of Swords. 4 of Swords upright. There is something, I don't know if she has like helped him in some way and she does not know this, but 4 of Swords is about silence, solitude, and healing. It's also about listening to the universe. Sometimes we need to shut our mouth so our ears can open, you know. not saying I practice that very often, but no, I can't help it. In this format, come on, I got to tell the story. If I sat here in silence and said, I'm just listening, it wouldn't be much of a story, right? We get the Two of Wands. Two of Wands. He went down the rabbit hole at some point in time. The Two of Wands is usually a choice between, do I go right, do I go left, or do I stay right here? Because it's normally depicted as like a fork in the road. So we've got three choices. I always think there's actually four, because you can go right, you can go left, you can go straight ahead, or you can turn around and come back from whence you did come. But in this case, we've narrowed it down. It's down the rabbit hole, and that's it. I'm thinking that one of the things he's trying to convey here is he's gone down the rabbit hole, and it might have been because he met her, or maybe he wants to say point blank, like, I have been thinking for a long time on how to approach you. I mean, maybe just coming clean, and he's like, and finally I just decided this is the only way to approach. So I'm just going to go ahead and say, after considerable amount of time of thinking, I'm finally just going to go ahead and, instead of trying to think any longer about what to say, here's what I'm going to land on. And then, he just conveys whatever his message actually is. It feels like he's going to preface it. Maybe this is how he'll be informal yet formal at the same time, convey the amount of thought he put into this. And in the end, he just decided to jump into the rabbit hole and see where it leads, right? I think referencing how much he wants to be respectful while still acknowledging that I don't know how to convey what I really mean except to be totally transparent. We got an Eight of Wands. He wants to talk. I don't know exactly what all of his intentions are yet, other than he likes her, but he wants to talk. He wants to, I don't know, here we have her asleep, and we have him as like a protective sentinel. I almost feel like some of the things he wants to convey is stuff she doesn't know about, either how he's been impacted by her. Look, I don't know what she is to him yet, and we need to ask that question, because this almost feels as if he knows she has no idea just how much he has been impacted or has thought so much about her, because she's been, when we're asleep, we're kind of oblivious, right? But and I've said this before, very recently, in fact, that maybe these two live in different time zones, where when she's asleep, he's awake, and vice versa. So maybe he tends to like think about her or consider her a little bit during a time when she would not know it, because she's fast asleep. Let me go over here and just see if we can figure out, how does he know of her or know about her? Five of Wands. I mean, she's one of the wolf pack, whether or not she knows it. He sees her as one of his kind. We also see that somehow, some way, she has inspired him to like look at himself as an emperor. But I said, how does he know of her? And we've got, I keep seeing that she's inspired him to think and think and think about himself, the role that he plays. We had a message so much like this, I think, over on Tarot Dog just a little while ago, where it was like, somebody has been inspired. It's weird to see the same story come out. That was probably like 2 days ago, I think. We have the Sun. Somehow she brought him some kind of clarity. Okay, can I get more literal and say how? How would she have impacted him to where he goes, wow, that's somebody I can resonate with, and she makes me think about myself, and she makes me actually feel like I want to be a better man or woman. I see more sunlight because of what she inspires me to see in myself. We got the High Priestess. High Priestess moves in the murky worlds. The High Priestess is intuition. It's the realm of the moon. It's the realm of the shadows, which he is emerging from. It is the realm of feeling, sensing, working with the intangible world that exists very much around us, even though it's it's the subconscious, it's the intuition, it's the gut feelings. And I said, but how Where is the connection here? And this is not very tangible and 3D. This is more like he met her in the dreamscape. He met her in the astral realm. He met her, her energy. I do not feel like these two have met in the real world, unless let's say she's a meditation instructor, or he met her in a class where he didn't connect and talk to her, but her presence was there in the same room. Maybe he went to a seminar, maybe he went to a a retreat or something, and she was there. Or maybe she does something like that online and he has observed, so therefore he's never seen her. It's just that really calm water and being such a reflective surface makes me think of screens, makes me think of somebody who's been on the other side, like he's known of her through like a group, or been introduced to her energy through a group of friends that know her, or maybe know her on a personal basis, but he did not. But he was, she was brought to his attention somehow. She's brought him light and illumination and joy, and kind of he feels better about himself for having known of her, or somehow feeling like, wow, that's somebody I feel a connection to, even though it's only in the like energetic realm. Spirit of Cups. Here she is again as the Queen of Cups. We've seen it twice now. And again, with the water and the transparency, there's something about, like, again, we're looking like through a portal or through a screen or through something, almost like she exists in a completely different world, but he can look into her world the same way we look into an aquarium, or the same way, if you're on a like a Caribbean, and the water is so clear and you can look through. I've never been to the Caribbean, but I've seen pictures. This just feels like she is somebody that he's been able to see something about, like her heart. Specifically, he's been able to see her heart. And her heart is here, and we've got these little pearls that the crab is carrying. And of course, Cancerian energy here. She could be a Cancerian. Does not have to be, because she's also, she's not just soft. She's got a backbone also, and he knows that too about her. But she's got some kind of pearls of wisdom that come from something heart-centered, and he's aware of that. He's seen some of that, or he's seen something about her that is really special. We have a Four of Wands, and we have the Three of Wands. She kind of ended up being that the thing that he decided he wanted to reach through the glass or reach through the portal and be a part of her world. He's kind of set some of his sights to sail toward her. And we're getting to that point. This is him sailing toward her. This is him. There's a lot for him to explain here about how she's kind of like perhaps motivated him and inspired him. That's a lot. That's a lot to talk about, because he has a lot of really nice vibes toward her, but he feels like he knows something about her heart, even though it seems like it's from a distance. We'll go to a part 2 and we'll figure out, did they ever actually interact? Because just since it started out with that high priestess, it still doesn't mean that they never really met face to face and interacted. There will be a free link in the description box. Sorry, these keep getting so long lately. But thanks so much for giving it a thumbs up and subscribing. I'll see you in part 2.